Hi, this is Natalie Lander, voice of Kinsey, Tara Branford, Stargirl, and many others. You are listening to a W2Mnet podcast. You can visit W2Mnet.com for other podcasts about entertainment, video games, sports, and wrestling. You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
Hello and welcome to episode 230 of Video Games to the Max. I'm your host, Sean Garmer, here with me as always, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
And well, it's another week in games, with the Memorial Day weekend and everything. Seems like people have taken that vacation a little seriously. It seems like you're either on the bridge of, alright, it's all back to normal, or we're freaking out about 20 people gathering on a beach. So, I know your thing just got extended over there, so...
Well, it's weird, like, our order got extended to, like, I think June 12th, but, like,
right.
Certain, like, the malls are gonna start opening up in, like, 2 days, or, like, 3 days, I think Thursday.
Yeah.
And it's, like, only certain malls, and it's, like, how, I guess it's up to the store if they open or not. So,
right.
But it's, like, who's gonna just be walking around a mall that's, half open, or, 75% of it is just not, you can't do anything there.
Yeah, I saw that. That happened here. Like, when the mall starts open, it was open, but there was so many stores not open because half the mall had decided not to even open.
Yeah, so I went to Toledo 2 weeks ago, and then I went back last week because I had to do stuff out there. I'm in Michigan, and that's in Ohio, and they opened up sooner than we did. And like the GameStop at the mall and a store called Box Lunch, they were like, "Oh, GameStop was like, we'll be open on the 15th," and I think Box Lunch was like, "We'll be open on the 17th of." This was in March, this was like a few weeks ago, or May, I should say, not March. But I went there on like the 20th, and both stores were still closed. So it's like, huh? Like, why didn't you open, or what happened?
Yeah, what do they say that they weren't?
Yeah, they didn't say anything.
Everything had to get extended, right?
No, like that was fine down there. That was the thing. Or they claim it is anyway. I mean, who knows? But yeah, it was just weird. I mean, they might be open now, but I mean, GameStops around here still be closed and stuff.
Well, everything's kind of been taking that pace right now, so it is what it is. But it felt like even video games took that sort of weekend and Memorial Day as well, and so there's not a ton of news. There was a Wholesome Direct that I'll talk about here, but I think everybody's kind of just waiting for today when the Last of Us State of Play, or Last of Us Part 2 State of Play is shown off. Supposedly they're promising 8 minutes of never-foreseen gameplay of the game. Of course, it's like...
Except for that leak.
Oh yeah, of course, the leak doesn't help, but we're, 3 weeks away?
Yeah.
Now from the game coming out? So, yeah, Randy's already excited, but I kind of told him, it's like, hey, are you excited for Wednesday? And he's like, I was already excited for that game. I kind of want them to show off something PS5 related at this point. And I feel like that's where a lot of people are right now. Like, I get it that they did that big tease that wasn't really a tease we talked about last time, but it's like, yeah. I mean, I get it if you're kind of just wanting to just do one explosion of Sony in one go, but...
You mean like something they do for E3?
Yeah, and maybe that's what they're doing, is they just want to do everything in one shot that's going to get people excited, and not that the Xbox way is wrong, but...
That's what I was saying earlier. That's what I don't like all these stupid mini directs or mini conferences and all that stupid crap. Like, just get it out there. We can move on with our lives.
Right, but I think people are wanting, like, anything. Like, show me anything PlayStation 5 by now. And it's like...
I hope you're looking at the back. Start looking at the back of the controller.
Yeah, I mean, we get more things about the controller, I think, right now than we do we do about games other than, games that we know are going to be, for multi-platform. So, and then, we got the Unreal thing, but that still was sort of a demo of what games could look like. I mean, yeah, I think people need to, again, temper their expectations of what games are gonna look like, even for, that first year or two of the PS5, but, I mean, I'm not saying we need to go see Horizon 2 right now, but, yeah, I just feel like that's where a lot of Sony people are at. Okay, we know about Last of Us, especially the leak doesn't help at all. We got the big showing of Ghost of Tsushima, okay, we're ready for what's next.
Yeah, but also Sony has always had one or two games on the cusp of when their new system launches. It seems like.
Yeah, the original Last of Us was like that.
That I think, God of War 2 was like that. The PS2 going to the PS3. I don't think the PS1 really had anything like that necessarily. Because the PS1 kind of lasted a little longer than it should have, maybe.
Yep.
Because I think the PS1 was 7 years, right? Or maybe I think 6 at least. Because then the PS2 came out 2001.
Yeah, but there were still PlayStation 1 games being made a few years into the PS2.
Oh yeah, but those are just crappy sports games. Here's Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen and Mall Adventure Part 3 or something like that.
Right, because nobody expected the PS2 to break all the records it broke. It's always that trepidation when a new console life cycle starts. People just, it's not going to sell as great as the last one, and then here we go. For the most part, a lot of the times that does happen. So, we keep seeing, again, the caveat of the world being the way it is, but the Switch is still selling ridiculously, and I still see pictures of people posting, I finally found a Switch. What game should I get for it? What do I need to go buy right now for it? I got Animal Crossing. I got this thing. What else? So, yeah, I feel like, if anything, this, one of the few, I guess, good things about the pandemic is you might now have a lot more people that are playing video games than there used to be, that didn't play games at all, that now have a Switch, a PS4, an Xbox One, and go, alright, well, maybe I should kind of take a look into, except for the Switch, you kind of picked a bad time to buy these systems because they're about to, go out, but...
Right.
Yeah, at least for the Xbox side, you'll still be able to use that for a few years, it seems like. But yeah, I wonder if any of those people will make the jump to the next console because of that.
I doubt it, at least for a while. They'll stick with whatever they have until they lose it or it breaks or something like that.
Yeah, so, aside from that state of play that's happening today, sorry that we're coming out before this even,
who cares who honestly cares what they show? It'll just be gameplay footage of Ellie riding the horse, or, her kissing whatever new girlfriend she has, and, they may show a few minutes of the human enemies are, much more intelligent than they used to be in the old game or something like that, but that's about it. It's not going to be dramatically different than the old game. It'll just look better and have a few more twists, but that's it.
Yeah, I feel like what we got at E3, was it 2 years ago? Where we saw Ellie do that, where she's, running around and killing people with various things. I feel like that was a heck of a lot more than I expected for Last of Us to kind of turn into. But yeah, I do think we'll see some twists on gameplay that might surprise people, or at least people that are kind of really excited about that game. But you are right in a sense of we kind of know what Last of Us is. It's just kind of taking the next step in that journey, really, in the story. And it's more about getting there. I feel like Ghost of Tsushima really was about, okay, we really do need to know what this game is about. What are you doing in that game?
It's a new property, new IP. So yeah, of course. Right. So Last of Us. I'd say at least 80% of that game is kind of a known quantity. The new stuff will be the story and whatever new gameplay hook they'll have or hooks they'll have. But I envision it'll probably be very similar. Well, I know what happens in the story, but I envision gameplay wise, it'll be pretty similar to the old game.
Oh yeah, certainly.
I hope you still get Ellie's cool unbreakable knife he can stick people with.
I felt like she was still using it in that E3 trailers. I mean, if she's using like a bow, I feel like using a knife is not.
Well, I mean, she used a bow in the old game too, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, well, does she use a crossbow in the old game too? I feel like they should.
No, that's
too. Yeah.
That's new. But it's not like a crossbow is like some huge gameplay differentiator. It's like, oh, I get to charge my shot now, and it'll be silent. But
not true. So it's going to be a little bit more than 20 minutes, and you'll get a big fix of Last of Us Part 2 sometime before that game comes out.
Yeah.
So the other small things that are kind of news here, before I get into the wholesome, talking about the Wholesome Direct. I'm not talking about everything. There's like 50 games they showed off in what felt like a very long 37 minutes. Or I guess 35 minutes, because 2 of those minutes was the credits. But yeah, either way, it felt like a very long. So the, I guess, big thing was the first PS Plus game for June was announced. Kind of early. Usually Sony waits sometimes a few days into the next month before they even announce it. The Call of Duty World War II is going to be available, and it's actually available right now for you to go download on your PS4 if you'd like. I know you reviewed the game, so.
Yeah, I was pretty mixed on it. Like, I remember the online is decent, but the campaign was nothing to write home about. So, I mean, for a free game, it's fine. Let's say that. It's probably one of the more high-profile games I can remember, at least in the past recent history.
Right.
I mean, you can talk about the Xbox free games in a second, but let's just say they don't hold a candle to this one.
No, they don't. They definitely feel like they're taking advantage of things that are coming out. At least 2 of them are things that are coming out. Actually, in the very, very near future, and then in the near future, and then, a game that already came out this year, and a game that I kind of like. But, so coming to Xbox Game Pass, I guess the big announcement for June so far is that No Man's Sky, with all of its different updates, is coming to Game Pass. So if you've yet to play No Man's Sky, you can enjoy it with all of the new things that have been added that have made the game a lot better than it used to be. So I don't know if you've tried it out at all.
No, that's that's a pretty big game to download. Or I think I had the disc version, but like downloading some 40 or 50 gigabyte patch, it's like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't have the hard drive space really.
Yeah, and especially with the slowdown now of all the data and everything, doesn't help either.
Yeah.
It felt like it took forever for I preloaded Xenoblade today. It felt like it took forever, like 2 or 3 hours. I was like, God.
Yeah, I bought Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite for Steam because it was really cheap. It was like $8. So I finally took the plunge, and it was like 60 gigabytes. And I was like, no, I don't have the hard drive space on my computer for that. Like games are getting ridiculous. I mean, I have like,
well,
I mean, I guess I'm curious, like how many, like not you, but like how big are like gamers' hard drives these days?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people are already, if you're serious about games, you're already looking into, you're going to have to buy one of those, at least if you're going to buy an Xbox Series X, you're already looking into buying one of those NVMEs.
Yeah.
And, whatever's going to be out there for the PS5. The Switch, the day one, I bought a 200 gigabyte card, and that thing still gets filled up. Because those games are big, the ones that... I mean, Nintendo has a great way of somehow compressing everything for their games, but everybody else just says, screw it. We're going to make these big files. And even 10.2 is like 27 gigs.
Yeah.
On a Switch, I forgot. I think 12's even bigger. I think it's like 40. So... I don't even know what the definitive edition of Xenoblade is. I gotta look. But, yeah. I had to delete some things for it to finally download, because the Switch does that thing where it says, it has a big X on it, and it says you can't download it. So,
That's always fun. I mean, I bought 2 Switch games recently, Astral Chain and Kirby, and I'm betting Kirby's gonna be pretty small, and Astral Chain will not be.
Yeah, I can't remember how big Astral Chain is. I think it's like, it's not huge. I think it's like 20 something.
Well, I got it on the card, but I'll still have to like install some data to the, my Switch, or
Right.
download update data or something like that. So we'll see.
Also, the Xbox games for Gold were announced, which again, like Marc said, very much pale in comparison to the Call of Duty World War II, and then we don't even know what the other PS Plus game is. I'd imagine it's not as big as that, because
it'll be Call of Duty, the new one.
Modern Warfare. Can you
like
imagine?
There's both of them. Enjoy.
So Shantae's Pirate's Curse, which is a very good platformer. Most of the Shantae games are, in fact. It's out there you can get it for Xbox One right now. Or not right. Is that the one that's available right now? No, I can't remember now. If they're available right now or not. But, so the Shantae's, the newest one, the Seven Sirens, comes out tomorrow. I'm still waiting to hear what's gonna happen with that for me. I'm I'm kind of almost like, no, because Xenoblade's coming the day after that. So, but it's smaller.
Yeah.
It's only like,
Shantae will take you like 3 or 4 hours, like 6 the most, not 40 or 50.
yeah, but like that game I think is also like even smaller. It's like a $30 game that they kind of they added a lot more stuff to. What's the last one? Half Genie Hero.
Yeah.
And kind of made it bigger in that way. But still, Pirate's Curse is a very good game that I would recommend. Coffee Talk is a good game if you like visual novels. So it's a game that came out, I think, around the end of January, that people were kind of lauding up a bit when we were in that kind of little bit of a void for games. So if you like visual novels, you can definitely check that out. That's the second game for Xbox One. And then Xbox 360, the first part of the month, this is For All Humans, which of course is getting the remake. It's an original Xbox game, so I know Jens is not here to talk about why he loves Destroy All Humans.
I mean, I guess I appreciate the humor in those games, but like the actual gameplay, I don't find it that fun. Personally, I don't know about you, but I'm just like, I mean, it's a very bog standard third-person shooter, or kind of action game.
Yeah, I like it for what it is. I mean, I don't love it like Jens, but I always thought it was like a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're making that new one with that like hilarious, $400 collector's edition. It's like, yeah, I'm sure people are gonna gobble that right up.
Well, those people have their fans, because I don't think they'd be doing a remake if there wasn't enough people
Yeah, but then they also did that Darksiders 3. They also had a $400 special edition. It's like no one wanted that.
I really want to know how many people bought that. Like, is there people out there that go, I bought that?
I can't imagine most people did. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw it in person, but that thing was fucking massive. It was like 4 feet tall or something like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then Samora is also a pretty good game.
Yeah.
You could just
get. I don't like that one.
I thought it was fine.
I don't like this. I mean, the gameplay was fine. I don't like the story, like all the animal rape. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's not a game I came to for the story at all. I agree with it on there. It's okay. It's there if you want it, but definitely I would say Destroy All Humans is worth taking a look at.
Sure.
If you already got games for gold, it's free. Just grab it.
Yeah.
So of course, remember you have to actually download it on you can download it on your PC, or you have to actually turn your 360 on, which I don't know if people still have those things connected.
No, you can just kind of go. You can just sign into the Xbox or
on your
the
Xbox
website.
One. It doesn't. That's what I was saying. On the website you can, but on the Xbox One itself, you cannot download the 360 games. Yeah, which I think is kind of a bummer. Like,
yeah,
it's like it'd be nice just to know I have it, so I don't have to turn the frickin'. Used to, I had the 360 connected, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I have to turn this thing on and hope it didn't wipe my memory, because that would happen. It probably already did that again, because I just unplugged it, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to use this thing anymore. So, just forget it. Because half the apps wouldn't work on it anymore, and I was like, this is a waste.
You can't watch the WWE Network anymore on it.
Yeah, I know. Yep, that thing just stopped working. And then, the PS3 is just so slow. I'm just like, yeah. I have that thing for, like, the older games that are on it, so that thing's still connected, but, yeah. I should probably turn it on, because I think the last time I, like, had it off for a long time, then turned it back on, it, like, sounded like a freaking jet was about to explode or something, and it freaked me out.
Right.
I should probably turn it on just to see if it's okay. So, also, I guess, worth talking about is that BlizzCon is the next convention being delayed due to COVID-19 pandemic concerns. So, there's no BlizzCon. They're not even going to try to scramble to do a digital event for this year. They said if there's any digital event at all, it'd be sometime early 2021. So I don't know if that says about where they feel they are at with Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, or if it's just they don't want to really go through that.
I mean, I knew this was going to happen, once this all started going down south, like, E3 is canceled, it's time they're going to have cancel that but hold BlizzCon. But I wonder if Blizzard is secretly happy this got canceled because their past conventions have not been kind. Let's say that.
Yeah, I mean they haven't been, but I feel like they would have learned their lesson from last time. Like, just don't. I mean, they're gonna talk about the mobile game, but maybe just don't make that a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, be a thing that you don't announce. Like, just kind of announce in a press release that it's available, or you do what you should have done, which is announce it and then show off a thing for Diablo 4 right after, so people kind of. I mean, I get it. Like, you want people to buy that game, but.
Well, I mean, you mean the mobile game?
Yes, I mean they're not making that for people not to check it out, but.
Well, I mean, the mobile game's free. I think it's supposed to be free to play.
Well, you want people in the ecosystem of that mobile game.
Yeah.
But, like, I think they did spend some time on it, but I feel like, when Bethesda does stuff like that, that's because they have the game that you want to see to show right after.
Yeah, they go, here's Elder Scrolls Blades, or whatever the hell that game was called, and then it's like, hey, here's the next one. Or, here's, Rage 2.
Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
Which, that's actually... I know you don't like that kind of stuff, but...
No, I mean, it's more of a game than Diablo Immortal looked like, or, just, it looked more, like, unique and original, at least.
Right, yeah. It was about the creating more, shelters and stuff, which people do like doing things like that, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with you, though, with what's been going on with Activision and feeling like they're pushing Blizzard into a weird direction. I wonder if they would have had anything to show on the Diablo 2 remaster. I wonder if they'll still maybe show something outside of BlizzCon now, because they know that they're not.
I was curious about, WoW, they have that, expansion due out this year, hopefully. I mean, BlizzCon's the best way to show off that stuff. I mean, better than, the game director just talking about it or showing, showing his, that he's not the most charismatic guy in the world, let's say. So, having someone else do that would have been better.
Right.
And also, I mean, BlizzCon is, where Blizzard I think they get a lot of money from that, technically, because of how much, merchandise they sell, and then, digital goods and all that crap.
Those virtual tickets as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. I was like, oh, buy the virtual ticket and you get a WoW mount and, a skin for Mercy in Overwatch and a new card pack for Hearthstone and all this other crap.
Yeah, which now you won't get because there's
it's funny, I mean, I don't play Overwatch that often. I play it basically once a day. And they have this Overwatch anniversary event going on right now. And it's they have two different loot boxes you can buy for it. One is the regular anniversary loot box, and one is the legendary one. And you have to buy, I think you have to buy 40 of the regular ones to get one legendary one. And it's wow. Who's doing this? I mean, if I could buy a legendary one for $5, I might do it, depending on how good the stuff in there is actually going to be. But I'm not going to shell out $40 or whatever, 50, whatever, to get these boxes, these boxes just for one of these things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people might, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you got people that will buy a whole you know, you were talking about box lunch the other day. You got people that will buy a whole $30 mystery box for Funko stuff just to get the one pop that costs like $10. So.
Oh yeah, that's another funny thing. GameStop is having like a sale on their Funko Pop boxes, and the one I want is that Persona 5 one. Yeah, just because it's Persona 5.
Right.
And the only GameStops that have it in stock, you can't buy it online. The only GameStops that have it in stock around me are in malls that are closed. So the GameStop is also closed. And it's like, how am I supposed to buy this thing? Am I supposed to break into the mall, break into the store, and leave $20 on the counter? Like,
you gotta wait.
Well, I mean, by the time the store opens, the sale will be over. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's weird. They should just let you like reserve it. In that kind of case, I mean, I wonder how they could do that technologically, but
well, they're like, you know, it's like call the store, and it's like the store is closed. You know, and I can't order it online. Like, how am I supposed to do this, guys? Come on, let me give you money before you fade out.
Yeah. That's weird because, unless it's something that, I mean, I have known for them with those because they want people to buy those so badly that I have known that I think for a long time, I remember for about like 6 months, they kept that buy 3, get 1 free going.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to get rid of the stock so bad.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure their stores have been clogged with that crap for years. So, yeah, it's a good way to get rid of a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and they really do like get so many of them, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm kind of out of that now. I still see that they have ones come out, and there's some of like series that I actually like, and I'm just like,
you went overboard. Like buying 1 or 2 was fine, but not buying hundreds.
Yeah, it was just one of those like bad time in the life things that I wish I would have.
Could have been like me and buying DVD sets instead.
I felt like that would have accomplished more. Like if that's something I can enjoy with people, like
yeah, and then those are also easier to resell.
Yes, that too. But also, I felt like it's just like, well, this is something that unless you find somebody that really wants these, like you're kind of out of luck,
I bought I mean, this is pretty recent. I found a Ghostbusters 1 and 2, the 4K edition steelbook at a local store that was still new, which I was shocked by. So it was like $45, so I bought it. And it goes on eBay for like $180.
Jeez.
I'm like, holy Christ. Like,
well, it's the same thing with that Advent Children Complete that I found in a pawn shop for like $8. I think I saw someone who had waited 30 days for it to ship from Japan or something because they couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, damn, So it's nice when you can find those cool deals like that.
Yeah.
But so we are, since things are kind of light on news, we are going to be.
Well, did you see the Manchester United story?
Oh, they sued Sega and Football Manager for using the Manchester United name, even though they've been using Manchester United
since 1992.
Yeah, but I think it's because the logo is so close to their actual logo, which I think is not something they've done in the past. That's what they're mad about.
They're also mad. Like that's one part, but they're also mad that people can like create their own custom logos and like upload them and share them. So like they're trying to get like an injunction against that. And it's like, you idiots, like you literally can't do that. Like if you do, the whole gaming community will ground to a halt. And then
it's called creativity.
Well then, no, it's not that. I mean, like think about like Animal Crossing. Like imagine like one day people wake up and it's like, hey, we can't share stuff anymore. How outraged
I mean, they stopped it in Dreams.
I mean, that's, yes, but also, I mean, I think that's more closely monitored. I mean, they don't stop it at all like the WWE games.
Right, but I mean, I think that's also Nintendo. Like, Nintendo just really monitors their stuff.
No,
but
they
I mean,
don't.
if they really, I mean, yes, they do.
Well, not like the user-created stuff, not at all.
Well, no, I'm not talking about Animal Crossing. I'm talking about like other people using their their IP in things that they don't want their IP in.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I mean, yes, they're very protective of their IP, but like as
Yeah.
far as their own games, they're like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the issue here is, couldn't Sega just like patch that out?
Well, they could patch out that that team, but also like the fact that like the football club or whatever is using their games to like do analytics and stuff is like, what kind of hypocrites are you? Like,
well, yeah, a lot of people use Football Manager to do that because it's very, it is very close
robust,
to,
yeah,
actually being a simulation of some of the things that you would really go through.
yeah. Oh, David Beckham cheated on his wife. That's why his points are down. His confidence is an all-time low.
Yeah, that's exactly what the issue is.
Forget Football Manager. I want Football Manager Wife Simulator. Football Wife Manager. Yeah, the
WAGs
WAG
edition.
Yeah. I opened up a clothing shop and now I think I have a career. It's like, no, you don't.
Somehow that does work for people. But,
yeah.
It was kind of funny to me too. I was just like, alright, of all the things, we're gonna get mad at Football Manager. Like, I get it that the whole point is that you're sort of simulating, what happens in a football match and the football season and everything, but, I don't know. If you're really gonna say that that's costing you money, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, unless it's like they're trying to like score, like make a deal with like PEZ, where they or like FIFA, like,
They already have a deal with FIFA. FIFA has all the licenses, and they already have a deal with PEZ as well. It's like, that doesn't, it's dumb. It's like one of the silliest things.
Also, isn't Football Manager like the one that like you don't play football in?
Yeah,
like,
you don't play soccer.
Yeah, it's just like menus, or
Right, you're watching it. Like you can watch the game and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But like you're sort of watching it as like a manager, So, and you can kind of make the tactical decisions and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
But used to, yes, it was all menus. But you can like watch like, I guess, like sped up versions of the game and stuff.
I was thinking about that NFL head coach game that
yeah, exactly.
A few years and they quickly were like, this is dumb. Like, no one wants to do this.
It was cool for a certain niche. And it's just that niche at that time was not big enough. I think now you could do it. I think that there's so many fantasy football. This is before fantasy football became big. So it didn't really work as well. But like, I think if you did it now in 2020, which I wonder if 2K could, maybe that's something 2K could sort of maybe get away with. I'm not sure how that would work.
Wait, you know what they should do? They should scrap this WWE game they're doing, this the kitty one, and just make WWE the Vince edition, where you just play as Vince McMahon.
Well, that's GM mode, basically.
Yeah, but turn it into like a full game, and you had Vince McMahon just like voicing it constantly, and like you have to agree or disagree with all the crazy things that come into his head.
That'd be a losing battle every time.
Like, you keep saying don't bring back the XFL, but the game just keeps doing it anyway.
Did you hear about that? He's actually going to try to buy it out of bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, hey, you know what? I liked it when it was on. I'm not going to say it's not.
For the 3 games it was on?
No, it was on for like,
6?
I think it was on for like at least, half this, not half, but a little bit less than half. And then, this happened and they couldn't finish it. But like, it was good. Like, some of it was bad, but like, it was entertaining and, whatever. It was nice to have football. It wasn't the NFL, but it was nice to have like another pro league. So it kind of sucks that it like dies out that way instead of,
Did you ever play Blitz the League, the PS2 game?
Yes,
for the 360?
I love that game.
They need to make a football game, or they need to make like football like that. Like, that's what I want. I would watch football if it was like that.
That would have to go back to the days where people didn't care about their bodies. I
think like, I want to say the second one got like ridiculously expensive online later on. Mm-hmm. It was like, I bought the 360 version, and I got like the PS3 version from a friend like new, and it was like $90. Like, and this was like way later, and I'm like, why the hell is this game, this much? But it's like, it's the lack of options, or it's like, most of the time you only have Madden. So anytime another football game comes out, it's like, yeah, this is what you get.
Well, yeah. I mean,
that's why that NCAA, I think it's like football 14.
Yeah, 14 is so expensive. It's still
because it's the last college game. So it's like, yeah, what do you expect?
I think the lowest I've ever seen it for when they would put it on digital sale, they'd still put it on digital sale for like 35.
Oh wow. I've seen like physical copies for like, I don't know, 70 or 80.
Yeah. Oh, well, I meant like when Xbox would put it on sale for the 360. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, okay, I'm not paying that. Like, cool.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Because like you can like add in things that would change the players and everything, so it'd be more like up to date. But yeah, so just getting into this. Okay, sorry.
So not to derail the whole like free love or whatever game thing they did today or announcement or festival they had.
Yeah, so yesterday was the I guess technically actually it was yes. I'm confusing myself. It was yesterday, and it was the Wholesome Direct. So it's actually funny because I used to write with one of the guys that does the voice work, Josh Boykin. He used to write for Got Game back in the day. And I think he actually wound up taking over Got Game for a while after Ramon left. And then he moved on to his own thing, and it was kind of cool to see his name again. So, nice little factoid there. So basically, if you don't know what Wholesome is, it's like they're basically like a brand that brings in games that are, yes, they kind of have that also wholesome vibe, as in like bright colored, cute games, whatever, but there's also some that tackle some really tough subjects and those kinds of things. So, but you'll have different kinds of games here, and some of them are coming out 2020, some of them are coming out 2021. So none of them were very long. I think the longest there was a game shown was 4 minutes. And then we got to the last, I want to say 5 or 6 minutes, and it was all a sizzle reel. But they showed off 50 games in this thing. I'm not going to go over all 50 games because, my God, we'll be here forever. Just wanted to hit, I guess, some highlights because I thought it was nice that they got their own time to shine. And some of these games will probably get absolutely glossed over, and you may never hear about them again. But some of them I feel like we would be talking about them if they were coming out relatively soon. I guess I should note that Ooblets, which is a game I think people have been waiting around for, is hitting the beta sometime this year on Xbox Game Preview and also on Epic Game Store. So it's like a farming creature collection and town life game. And you're an Oob, and they get into dance battles, and you manage a farm and stuff like that. So, if you like Ooblets, or you've been kind of waiting around for Ooblets to come out, we got a little more about that. Fold Apart is already out, so that was shown. You can go buy that on pretty much any system you want. It's a sweet puzzle game about long distance relationship, and how they kind of make that work. And also Skatebird or Birdskate. I think it's Skatebird.
Yeah.
We got more about that. So that was kind of a lot more well received when you didn't know there was a Tony Hawk remaster coming.
Right.
I don't know if it's so the thing I'm super excited about now that there is a Tony Hawk game coming, but
well, I guess some other skater not associated with Tony Hawk was he claimed that he had a call from EA going oh, we're making a new skate game, we're putting Skate 3 on mobile, and the guy was like, no. They're like, you want to be in it? And he was like, no. And he was bitching out the person at EA, why are you doing this? No one wants this.
Aren't they? Isn't there one called Skater XL or whatever that's coming now?
Yeah, but that's not EA. I mean, that's just some dude making it on Steam or whatever. I mean, yeah, I think it's already out there and it's early access. But it boggles the mind that EA would go, hey, we're porting Skate 3 to the iPhone and Android. It's like, do you just not read the room at all? Like, what's the deal?
I guess they're hoping that it just kind of finds its way and people like it.
Well, first of all, Skate has a more complicated control system than Tony Hawk. So imagine trying to play like a Tony Hawk game on your phone that's not meant for phones. Because it's ported like, here's the DualShock controller buttons on your phone. Have fun. Like, Skate is worse than that. And so it's like, that's a fool's errand if I ever heard one.
Oh, that's them. They want to do that. So, there's some phone games. One of them is from Co-op, which is oh my god, I can't think of the name of that game now. It was like a VR game that they eventually turned into. You didn't have to play it with VR, but you like made puzzles and it had like these really crazy colors and God, I can't remember the name of the game now, but it's actually really cool. They showed off 2 games. One of them's out now called Winding Worlds, which looked neat. It's, I think, on phones only. Yeah. It's an Apple Arcade, so I won't be able to play because I don't have an Apple phone, so whatever. But yeah, one that like really jumped out to me is called Spiritfarer. That's about basically you're a person that's tasked with you trying to make it nice for these creatures that are dying. And you like build a boat and you explore a world with them, like take care of your little friends, and then eventually like you release them into the afterlife, So it was like sweet and it has some like really great art style, so I'll be definitely looking out for that one. Kind Words also got like a free update. That's the game that's about writing letters to people. That's literally all you do, and then you can respond or they respond to you. And it has things like a frog and other things that are added into your new room that's available. So yeah, there's that as well. And a game called Button City that's like very colorful and like has like a panda, a fox, and a bunny they're all trying to save their local arcade from being shut down. And it has different gameplay styles and stuff. So that was pretty sweet. I thought it was nice. And there's also a game called Chicory that has a dog that lets you paint things, and you solve puzzles using the brush. So it was like, it like made me go, yep, if I showed that to Anaya, she would definitely, because she's all about dogs. So,
show her Okami.
Yeah, I really should. I let her play it, but I feel like it'd be getting like a little complicated for her, but
I think they made a DS one that was pretty easier, I think, right? Or 3DS, or I don't know, they did something wild.
I have it on Switch. I need to like sit there and play it with her. There's also a game called Calico where you get to ride around on a cat, and you rebuild the town's cat cafe, and that is your job.
As one does.
As one does. There's also, I just wanted to point this out because it's neat. It's called Melon Journey 2, and it's like story game that looks like it was supposed to be on a Game Boy. So it has that same like old Game Boy color scheme. So yeah, so I mean, if you want to go check out what was shown and see if there's anything that strikes your fancy. Most of these games are coming out later in 2020. Like I said, there's some phone games that are out now, and I think there was one game a few that are coming like in October or later in the summer, things like that. So yeah, just there was a lot, and there's 55 games actually that were shown off. So yep, I wouldn't advise sitting through that whole 35-minute thing, but
I didn't even know, like, I don't think anyone was talking about it online, it seemed like.
Yeah, it wasn't, like I said, there were games outside of Ooblets or Skatebird, I think, that was something that, like, people were like, oh my god, I've been waiting for this game. Most of them were games you had no idea even existed, and there's those things that you see on Steam, I think, because most of these games were wishlist on Steam now, or for phones, or whatever, so they're really indie. So, yeah. And if you don't like cutesy games, they're definitely not going to appeal to you at all. So I just thought I would take the time to give them some time. So, the last thing we're gonna do for this was, I meant for it to be more of a thing for last week, but because, there was that Pac-Man 40th anniversary, I was like, well, let's just go ahead and do this topic. But a sort of thing from early last week, I feel like, was some controversy of, depending on who you talk to, Assassin's Creed Valhalla's world was going to be either bigger than Odyssey or not as big as Odyssey or maybe just as big as Odyssey. There was conflicting reports. Either way, apparently based on everything that you get to do, because not only is there that old parts of England that's been all recreated, there's also parts of Norway as well that have been recreated. So it eventually winds up being even bigger than Odyssey. So I guess we can talk about that for a little bit, but also the whole point was to talk about like some of our favorite open worlds, or just worlds where you get to, you can explore, and how, whether we liked it or not. So you're the Assassin's Creed person, you've reviewed Origins Odyssey, this is the next tale in that revamping of Assassin's Creed that you've been vocal about. You're not the totally biggest fan of.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Valhalla possibly being even bigger than Odyssey? But felt like, just to like get you right, like I remember you saying like Origins was very bloated. You felt like they handled that better in Odyssey or worse?
Odyssey was the same way. Odyssey, I think, went further actually, because like Origins had, I think, like, I don't know, 24 districts, or like 24 different maps, maybe like 16 or 20. I'll just say 20. 20, like, Origin had 20 different maps, or like, distinct, like, map, grids or sections. I completed the game finishing, like, I saw like 12 of them. I didn't see all of them, because you don't need to, really. So I completed the game with 12, and then, like, later on I mopped up, like, getting a few trophies, like, oh, go visit every map section, or go, sync every viewpoint, or go collect all this, hidden crap. And, like, you have to go, you have to find some, in every section. Odyssey had, like, 36. And I finished the game only seeing like 14. So yeah, that game was bigger because there's a lot more of a naval part to that game. First of all, like more islands to explore and like crap like that. I mean, if this game is like as big as Odyssey, it's like, oh Christ. Like I had someone on Twitter say this is pretty recent. He's like, oh, 200 hours in and I finally finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm like, don't you see that as a problem? Like, I'm all for getting your money's worth, but that's going overboard.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, again, like, you're right about, hey, if this is the game you're gonna invest in that's your holiday game, then I think, right, and spend your 200 hours. But I think there was probably a lot more people that did not finish that game because of how big it is.
I mean, I finished the 3 main storylines. That's the thing. Like, it has a ton more side crap, but it's like, I hit the level cap. Like, what do I care about that? I mean, I think eventually they, unlock the level cap, so you can just kind of keep grinding it out forever. But, initially it was like a level 50 level cap, and I hit that. And I'm like, why would I go to these other areas that I don't care about, just to find some guy, kill some guy that, attacks some other guy's wife or something. It's a big goddamn deal. Like,
Well, I guess if you're wanting to, platinum it or get a bunch of trophies.
A lot of stuff didn't matter. It wasn't like, you have to complete every side quest, because a lot of it was, just very, it was just very cookie cutter stuff. It wasn't like, oh, explore the deep mysteries of the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood in Greece. It's like, no, just kill these 3 guys, and then move on. And it's like, well, I got a flaming sword, so I got a feeling these guys are going to die pretty quick. I mean, if every district in Valhalla has unique content, that might be cool, but I just don't see that happening.
I feel like those raids are eventually going to feel samey after a while.
Well, I mean, the big battles in Odyssey did the same thing. Like, you had those big army versus army battles, and after the first 3 or 4, it's like, okay, I got the gist of this. Like, it's not new, or it's not different. The only difference is if you're facing a very massive, if your army is massively outnumbering the other one, or vice versa. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of kill enemies left and right. It's not a huge deal. I mean, let's say Final Fantasy VII Remake is let's just say 40 hours, but, average. Like, what if that was a $200 game? Would you have stuck with it? And it's not like,
No.
it's like, hey, go, that block breaking mini game that the kids make you do? It's like, hey, go do that 10 more times, and you'll get
Nope.
10 more elixirs, or 10 more Moogle medals. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's like, well, I mean, they're not forcing you to complete it, right? But I mean, if it's taking you, I guess if you want to really 100% do everything in that game, it's there for you. I think, well, how long did it take you just to finish the main storylines?
I would say 70 hours. Like two of them are pretty plot dependent, or they're pretty story driven. The last one is very much like, you have a big web of intrigue or web of people you just have to kind of find and kill. Like that's the one long one because you don't really know who these people are necessarily. So it's like that's the one you have to really explore the map around, to try to hunt these people down. But the other two is just go here, do the story mission, then it's okay, go to this other area and do this story mission. So just leading you hand over hand.
Yeah, but at least the story was better this go around than Origins, right? So that was.
I mean, marginally. I mean, it depends. The fact they had 3 different storylines, I thought was really weird because they didn't really intersect that well, or they didn't intersect at all.
Yeah, let's hope that that's improved for Valhalla, and that maybe it's not going to be 70, 80 hours just to complete the game.
I think it's really weird, at least in that game so far. They're like, oh, you can be this. I don't even know the character's name. Some starts with an E. I know that. I'm just gonna call it Eivor. It can be Eivor, but it can be a man or a woman. And it's like, don't you see how that kind of can fuck with your storyline? Because characters should treat the character differently if it's a man or a woman. Shouldn't you just say, hey, it's a man, or hey, it's a woman? I mean, I don't really care either way, really. If it wants to be a woman, fine. But have an actual character. I think Persona 3 Portable did that pretty well, because normally it's a man, or a guy.
Yeah, but they made a whole game based on her being a girl, right?
Well, no, I mean, they altered the game, so you can date date your male best friend instead of the female best friend. I mean, it's yeah, that makes sense, because you're playing a female. Of course. I mean, that's the same, it's the same problem, if the story has no real attachment to the main character, then I think it's not a bad story, but the story can be impacted negatively. Let's say that. I think it works in Mass Effect because it's supposed to take place in the future, and those types of really boundaries are broken down a little, but not so much in Viking era England.
Right.
I know history on Viking literature or history, but I'm just going to throw that one out there. I doubt there was a ton of same-sex relationships in that era. I don't want to get a lot of hate mail saying I'm wrong. I don't really care either way. But, if you want to play as a woman, they should just set that and say, fine, go ahead. I don't get, their weird fascination with, having these, weirdly, you can swap genders or swap characters. It's who cares, really?
I mean, they have shown off what she'll look like in a statue, I guess, that you can find online.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that all the gameplay trailers they've shown up having the guy.
Right. Yeah, because I felt like with Odyssey, they really wanted you to play as Cassandra more than.
Yeah, and that game was weird because whatever sibling you didn't pick, or let's say you played as Cassandra, her brother was the bad guy in that game, and it was vice versa. If you played as him, she was the bad woman. Mm-hmm. And it's okay, why don't you just make it canon then that you play as her? Why have that be an option at all? What is it? What purpose is there?
Because people will get upset. It's to avoid the whole getting upset thing. Because
yeah, but then it detracts from the story, and it ruins part of that narrative.
I agree with you. In that way, in that maybe Ubisoft should have just had the courage of.
I mean, they used to.
But that the one isn't the only female assassin is Liberation, and she was, a PSP game.
They brought it over to home consoles. Yeah, it was Liberation. I mean, they did that in Syndicate also. that was a little more different because you could choose between a man or woman at any time. Between
Right.
both
Yeah,
siblings.
but don't you eventually have to play as the other gender at one point, though?
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing. You have to play as a man or the guy and the girl at separate points in the game.
Right. So kind of like more like the Sonic, where there's two characters and they just both happen to be, there's a man and a woman character.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's really what it is. It's just to avoid the whole. It's almost kind of more like you pick at the beginning instead of having a critic character. You have that instead.
Well, I mean, they should just if they want you to play as a woman, that's fine. Have you play as a woman. And if, jackasses on the internet don't like it, it's like, fine, don't buy our game or don't play it. Like, it's put off our brow.
Right. I mean, it's a vocal minority usually that has that issue,
and,
but there are people that.
It's like, okay, if you don't want to play as a woman in our game, fine. Go play one of the other 12 Assassin's Creed games you play as guys. Have fun playing as Connor Kenway in fucking Assassin's Creed 3.
I agree with you, but I think in this way, it's not. Like, I think that's why they did it this way, because there was so much, I think this is, I don't know, I'm not Ubisoft, maybe this will get revealed eventually of why this was chosen this way, but I feel like this is more of a, Odyssey almost became play as Cassandra, don't even bother with,
I mean, yeah, there were
the other guy.
There were Kotaku articles written about Cassandra's such a better written character, and it's like that's okay. Right. Why have that be an option? Let's let you play as her. Who cares?
Right, but that's the thing is I think they wanted to avoid that this time, but they did more focus on the man, I guess, because Viking lore that's still.
Well, I mean that's another thing. I mean, you watched that. I know you watched that Viking show for a while.
Right.
Were the women a big warrior force?
No, you have so that's been disproven that there was this Viking women warrior force. It's really just one, Lagertha,
Okay.
And that's it. She is she just happens to, so she's the main when Ragnar is still the main character. She is his wife, and she is one of those women that is totally about doing shit herself, and she kicks ass, and that's who she is. But almost pretty much every other woman character is the typical, the woman's there, and it's a man's world, basically. So,
yeah, I mean, that's that's another kind of problem. It's just, it's very pandering, I would say.
Yeah,
it'd be like the equivalent of them making an Assassin's Creed game in Vietnam and going hey, you can play as a man or a woman. It's how many women soldiers were in Vietnam?
But they're
none?
not really going, but you're also talking about, you're letting them do certain things that are not completely historically accurate. I mean, so.
I mean, yeah, but even Odyssey is there weren't a ton of women fighters in the world, let's say. And even some of the characters comment on that, oh, you're a woman, huh? And it's well, either say, hey, women are cool too, and have you just play as a woman, or don't have the option.
Well, I mean, even Final Fantasy VII Remake, they did a lot to improve that wall market part, but there's still parts of the wall market thing where they don't necessarily, there's still some of that, he looks hot, or, whatever, or, so, I mean, I think that's always kind of being there because that's still sort of historically relevant for that time of you really didn't have that, so.
Yeah, but I would say there's a slight difference between them making a Viking historical game and Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
I mean, unless history just forgot Midgar. I mean.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that, yes, you can call it pandering, but I feel and yes, you have a point of, you should just go with what you feel strongly about is what our direction, but I think this is sort of the way that we're, doing things now. We need to sort of,
yeah, but things are also worse than they were before. So, I mean,
Right, but
you can say that, but I was like, well, if
I think
things
you're
were
just
better
gonna
back,
have the outcry of you don't want to make your game something that it doesn't need to be. Like let the game speak for itself and not make it this crusade about, oh, you chose not to have a woman. Oh, there were Viking. Like you'll start people going crazy trying to find Viking women warriors to prove that we really should have.
I mean, yeah,
You
but
know,
you're literally saying my point though. Like, it's such a vocal minority. It's like, fuck them. Like, if they want to bitch about it, go ahead. But it's not going to change history, and it's not going to change. If they want to have the story be the story, fine. But them bolting some woman onto it, for good or for bad, it just seems
I
weird.
feel like
It's like,
she's not even okay. For one, we haven't seen any gameplay of the. Now,
no,
granted,
I mean,
we haven't seen Ubisoft have a long gameplay of this either, so we don't know yet. But
here's the thing, and I'm not talking liberation, but in both Assassin's Creed games, we could be as women. I primarily were them, but they offered. Well, I mean, what is it? Syndicate offered some gameplay changes, and I think she was a better, like she had a different skill tree than the guy did, and I think it was better. But like tangibly, there's no difference between the two. I mean, I'm not like Jens. I don't really care who I'm playing as personally.
yeah,
I played as default male shepherd in Mass Effect because when I said character, that was a guy that popped up. If it was like female chick shepherd, I'm like, fine, I don't care, whatever.
right. I totally get what you're saying, but I think also Mass Effect did set that precedent of people did like that option of being able to pick, and so it's just basically that's what this is. You have that option of being able to choose, and it is what it is.
I think, well, also, I mean, the difference between like Mass Effect or KOTOR or something like that and this thing is the writing in those games is better. I mean, I think the writing in these Assassin's Creed games has been really sucking the past few games. So, I mean, that's kind of the other problem.
That's a fair point. We're also talking about BioWare in their heyday compared to
BioWare
Ubisoft
now.
yeah, BioWare
or,
now,
I mean, my friend at Ubisoft, he left there, I think after 4, he worked at Ubisoft. He was like the writer of Assassin's Creed, a guy named Corey May. And it's like, I don't know why he left. I think he like went to like work at some other studio or like created his own studio or something. I want them to bring him back. Because he was like the big architect at the time of the series. It's like when that was good, I thought. Or, like was actually like fresh. And it's like, yeah, bring him back at least for a story consult or something. Like,
yeah, so
the one thing that gives me a lot of pause about this Valhalla is like, they're like, romance is going to play a much bigger part in the, or it's the side quests or whatever. It's like, I'm good. Please don't.
there's people that really love that stuff though. Like,
I mean,
they love that stuff for Mass Effect. They love that stuff for Dragon Age. Like,
I love that stuff from Saints Row 4. You remember how they did it?
no, I don't.
It was like literally, you go back onto the alien ship and you just press a button when you weren't next to one of the characters and it just has sex. And that was it. It's like, I think you walk up to Kinsey and I think it's like you press the Y button and I think she like kisses you, punches you, and then you have sex. Or like you go up to the robot and they're like, do you want to receive intercourse? And like, you don't see it obviously, but the robot starts giving your character a BJ and it's like, yep, this works. All romance just boils down to press Y to get it on. I mean, that's ultimately what you want to do anyway. So they just skipped all the crap that, you can build up the relationship between this character. It's like, I don't want to. Like, just get on with it, please.
Well, again, like, The Witcher, it's, people enjoy it there as well. It's like, there's a lot, these big games, people really enjoy having those romance, things mean something. So,
Yeah.
Frankly, I have yet to, I think outside of, Catherine, where that's a central gameplay conceit.
Yeah, that is the
and
point.
Persona, like, I've really yet to play one of those games where that's, like, a central thing. So
I mean, I've played more, but it's not like the make or break thing for me with a game.
Nah.
Like, unless it's like the central point. Like, I mean, something like Stardew Valley was kind of like one of the big points is like find a character that you like and get a relationship and marry him or her. But
hmm
most games, I mean, I'll do it if it's an option, or if I can. But I don't really care either way, really.
Yeah, I get it. I get you. So,
But,
speaking of, because we said that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be open world, it's going to follow those same, trappings of the two previous Assassin's Creeds. What are some of the, like, open worlds that you have enjoyed exploring or going through?
like, of all time, or just this generation?
I'm not saying, like, it has to be the best of all time. I guess, like, just some favorite ones, like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be the best one ever or whatever. Just, like, ones that you go, like, yeah, I really love just being in that world.
I think for me, like, one of them, I would say probably my favorite is GTA San Andreas.
Yeah.
I mean, I know GTA 5 took a lot of that land, they just upgraded the landscape, or, like, made it better. But I really liked the world of San Andreas time. Even, the funny thing is, I don't like the game's atmosphere that much. Like, I'm not huge into, like urban culture necessarily, or like the early 90s urban culture. Like, I was too young, or I just don't really care about that, the setting per se. But I think GTA San Andreas had a very fun city to explore, or a few different fun cities to explore, and, like, do fun stuff in, like the gang takeover stuff, and, like, Los Santos and stuff like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, go on. I mean, do you have, like,
Well, I mean, like,
most favorite one?
like, my city was the one that I played the most of those PS2 GTA games. I didn't play much of San Andreas.
Oh, okay. I didn't play.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Vice City, though. I mean, I really remember a lot of that town. But
Right.
I just liked San Andreas more personally, because it was, Vice City was basically the two long islands together, like, joined up by bridges.
Mm-hmm.
But or San Andreas, like, here's a county, go explore.
Yeah, they really gave you a lot of freedom to do things.
Yeah.
San Andreas, that was nice. Staying on that same sort of gameplay concept, probably still my favorite Simpsons game is Simpsons Hit and Run, which is basically Simpsons GTA.
Yep.
I just absolutely loved living in the frickin' Simpsons world, and so many little nuggets there of, like, if you really love the Simpsons, it's there for you, and just it was just fun. That game was
like
so much fun.
That's, like, the first and only, like, Simpson, like, open world Simpsons game I can think of.
Yeah.
I think they did, like, a Simpsons movie game, like EA did it, but it really wasn't as good.
No, it wasn't.
So I actually didn't play that much of it. I just remember, like, I remember seeing it, but yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I remember it was one of the first games that I really just wanted to drive around and just explore things, and I would do side quests just to go to, like, oh, I haven't been to that part of town, like, I will go do that, or whatever, so they did a great job with that.
I would say, for me, I mean, it just came out again, but I think Saints Row 3 is, like, a great city to screw around in. And
yeah, it's funny, those, like, sort of GTA clones where you get to kind of just do whatever the heck you want, kind of.
Well, I mean, I would still say that, I mean, I would personally say the best, like, Rockstar City is probably Bully still, but that's such a smaller town that you have to get, you get way more intimated with the city than, Vice City or San Andreas, because it opens up so slowly as well that you learn all the little paths, like, the downtown area, or the carnival, or the mental hospital, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that Saints Row that rematch looked really good.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like the same game. They've done so much good work to those character models and everything.
I would say, I mean, as far as cities go, I would say probably my favorite one was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, like, exploring Rome, and, like, the outlying towns, or, like, little small settlements is really good. I thought London was pretty good also in Syndicate as well. But I think Rome is still the best, because, I mean, it has such a, recognizable, you recognize so much of Rome in that game.
Yeah, like, a person that's been there, like, it was cool to play that game and, like, recognize so much of that.
Yeah, well, even, like, exploring the Colosseum, or exploring, like, some of the, bigger, areas around in the city. It's like, those are the neat as hell. What about can you think of any good, like, superhero games, like Spider-Man, or,
Well, the PS4 Spider-Man it was fun to be in that world. I really enjoyed just, like, that's one of those games that, like, you know, there's not a lot of games for me that I just go, okay, I don't mind doing this side quest or that side quest or whatever. Like, it was just so enjoyable to swing around and do things in that game, like run around and, you know, you really felt like you're there being Spider-Man, that I just wanted to keep finding reasons to play it. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe not everything in that, and like the stealth crap wasn't great, but like outside of that, I mean, I thought they did a great job with that world.
Yeah. I would say I didn't get on the infamous bandwagon until the PS4 ones, so I can't judge like the earlier ones, but the other one they did,
Last Light?
No, it was an Xbox 360 superhero game, where you play like, I think his name was like Alex Mercer or something like that. Damn it. They did a sequel with a really bad guy. Damn it. I can't remember that game. Prototype, that's it.
Oh, I was gonna say that and I was like, is that the game he's talking about?
Yeah. I mean, that was basically, it was basically New York. I mean, or like a less dense populated version than Spider-Man, obviously, but I think the abilities you got in that game were a lot of fun to like really screw around with. Prototype 2, they made it more of a game. Like, they made it easier and like more focused. Like the first Prototype, pardon the pun, is kind of a prototype because like parts of it feel like kind of half finished or, you know, like very experimental. But I think like that let you like, it gave you a lot more like uses of your powers and like experiment a lot more than the second one.
Hey, I feel like the second one, it felt like they tried to make it, like you said, much more about the character, more about
but the only thing
was on other things.
The only thing James Heller cared about was destroying computers or hating them. So it's like that's not a great character motivation.
That's very true.
But yeah, I mean, open world games have kind of only come around since like the PS2, like the old, you know, you couldn't really do them in the PS1 or before that, really.
Well, I mean, there was like, I guess, you know, like 7 had the open world map or whatever. You know, those Final Fantasy games had those maps that are open world, but the whole game wasn't.
Right. Or like, you know, you could go to a bunch of different towns in Final Fantasy, but it's like, well, there's nothing to do here, really. You know.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. For me, probably one of my favorites, and why it's one of my favorite games, and why I'm looking forward to. And I mean, I guess Xenoblade is also included in this as well. The first, but Xenoblade 2, just being able to go into any of the towns, and then just to walk around, and you really feel like you're in that world. The monsters are around, and there's level 20 monsters with level 60 monsters, and that level 60 monster, you piss it off, could kill you in one whack, and they're like sit there hoping to God you don't catch that thing's eye so you can keep going. Yes, the map system wasn't great, but it's just as far as like being in that world and just feeling like you're really there. I think it just does such a great job, and to be on Switch and you can play it mobile. Yes, it looks better docked. I think they did a much better job with like the patches of making it work well undocked, but like, that's one of the big reasons why I'm excited about Xenoblade coming out in a few days. Is just, man, I just know there's going to be so much to explore, and just with Bionis, and like once you get to various parts and it opens up even more, it's freaking awesome. So
I would say the last two I could think of, like the last two big ones, are just Fallout 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Bethesda's done open world games before, but those were more fantasy based, obviously. Like, I think, like, of the Elder Scrolls games, I still think, like, Morrowind had the best world, because it was just very inventive, or, like, creative, compared to, like, the two environments in Oblivion. And, like, Skyrim looks nice, but it's very much the same all over, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, like, Morrowind specifically had a bunch of different environments, but I really liked what they did with Fallout 3. Like, it was, some of, like, getting around the city sucked, but, like, it was still a great world to, like, really inhabit and, like, just wander around in.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think the biggest one, and I'm jaded on the game really, but it's like still World of Warcraft.
Well, yeah.
Like, I mean, I still have like fond memories, when I fired that game up for the first time and I'm in like Elwyn Forest and it's like, hey, let's cross this little creek and see what's over here. And then, you cross the creek and like the entire game world becomes dark and it's like, uh-oh, I did something bad here. Like, run away. Like, go back to the nice pretty forest, not this dark forest that with like wolves 30 levels higher than I am.
Oh, yeah. Like, I remember, you'd go the wrong way and all of a sudden, like, oh, well, I'm dead. Like,
yeah, pretty much. That doesn't happen now, thankfully, that much, but yeah. I mean, the creativity in WoW is still really impressive, at least on just a technical level. It's just, it's just playing the game is such a chore.
Oh, that's true. I mean,
when the new
same of like Final Fantasy 14 as well. Just.
I mean, yeah, but that game hasn't been around for 16 years.
Oh no, definitely.
And I think the thing with Final Fantasy 14 is that it looks a lot better. First, because it's a lot newer technology, but also I think they have a more, I would say, consistent art style.
Well, yeah, because it's based off Evilise.
Yeah, but WoW's art style is all over the place with all the expansions. It's like the weird panda expansion. It's like, this is super weird now. Like, there's also like Asian music playing and like, this is like kind of creepy.
Well, like for me, The Witcher also.
I would say games like The Witcher and like the later Assassin's Creed games, they have too much world. Like, I did not finish The Witcher 3.
Witcher is, it feels like anytime you accomplish something, like, how much do I have left? Oh, hell. Like, this is just too much.
Like, I think I played that game for like 70 hours or something. I know Jens finished it at like 140 or something like that or whatever,
Jeez.
but it's like, I basically gave up after the game, like when I was like, oh, like the 9 different find dandelion quests. It's like, I did the quest. Where is he? He's like, oh, go talk to this other guy to find him. And you talk to the guy, he's like, oh, do my quest now. And then you finish it, and you talk to him, he's like, oh, now go do this other person's quest. It's like, no, tell me where he is, or I'm just going to start massacring everyone in this town. Like, that's what I felt like saying in the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what about, no love for Final Fantasy 15?
It is an open world, but I think a lot of that game, like, a lot of the game world is very barren, unless you're doing quests. Like, I love Final Fantasy 15's world, but like, it's very dependent on you talking to the right person, getting a monster hunt set up, and then, it almost is kind of like Monster Hunter in that way. You can kind of go off the beaten path, but you're not really going to find much. You might stumble upon, like, maybe a hidden tomb of the kings or whatever, but, like, that's pretty rare. Like, there's not that many of them out there. And, like, you can, like, walk from, like, one town to the other, but it's like, why? Just drive, and then you bypass everything you'd want to see, or, that you might stumble upon.
Yeah.
I don't think RPGs typically aren't that open world necessarily, unless, like, they're really built for it.
What I like the most is just being able to get in that car and, like, go anywhere you wanted.
Yeah.
And then you're...
So much of that game is like, oh, do whatever you want until, the plot kicks in.
Yeah.
What I liked was getting in that car and then being able to fly wherever you wanted to. That was fun.
Yeah. That was so weird. Like, I don't... When you told me that, like, happens, I'm just sitting there going, really? That eventually happens in that game?
And then
that car can actually fly? Or...
The funnier part is, like, I would say the controls for driving in that game really aren't that great. Like, cause the car is like a very lumbering car. Like, it's not like you can turn on a dime or go like 200 miles per hour. It feels very weighty, I would say. So, the controls for flying in the game are fucking terrible. Like, it is hilarious how bad the controls are for, like, flying. It's like, holy Christ. Like half the time, you get up in the air, and then when you're trying to come down to land, you just crash and, like, game over. Because, like, the game just freaks out. And it's like, hey, I want to patch this or fix this somewhere along the line. I think they did eventually, but it's like, okay, why'd you put this in here in the first place? If, like, half the time it's a gamble. Like, I think it's like the hardest dungeon you have to fly to. You can't like, walk to it or drive to it.
Oh, no, that's like the secret dungeon. You have to, like, freaking know where the hell it is.
Yeah, you have to, like, and there's like one really lit, like, very small like runway to like land on, but like if you don't land right correctly, you're gonna just game over, like crash and like into the side of the hill. And it's like cool, I guess.
Yeah, like I just liked. I agree with you that a lot of that land was like really barren, but I just liked finding things
Oh yeah.
and where when you knew that there was a quest to go to.
Well, I mean, I think that's like a game where if you follow a guide, it's really good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, hey, go back into the sewer and then take two rights and a left, and you'll find this like cool armlet or something like that. But if you're just kind of wandering around on your own, it's like you can wander for hours and not find anything cool.
And it's kind of like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild. You walk around and find stuff.
People might say that game, but it's like I didn't finish it. I don't know about you if you finished it or played it, no, but it's like I just couldn't get into it that much. I think I beat the first boss, like the first dungeon, like the water dungeon, and I'm just not into this. Like I want to be, or I feel like I should be, but I didn't like the weapon durability stuff that much. I don't really like combat that much, and it's like, this isn't clicking for me like it should. I mean, if you're talking about like an open world Zelda game, I'd say like Ocarina of Time, or even like Link to the Past.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, Breath of the Wild is insane in that way that you can just kind of like go explore everywhere and you know.
People have like glitched it so like you can like reach Ganon's boss room in like 10 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, hey, that's my hat's off to you, but kind of defeats the purpose of the game for me personally. And then also like I don't really care either way. Like I think the whole point of that game is to explore and get the orbs and increase your stamina and like hearts, and you're just kind of cheating yourself out of that experience. But I also didn't like that experience that much, so that's why it didn't like click with me.
Yeah, I just I'm not huge on like Final Fantasy 15. Even though I did have a guide, I felt like you could still kind of figure out what you needed to do, right?
Yeah.
I'm not big on that. Like absolutely, completely, it's up to you, whatever. And I felt a lot of that with Breath of the Wild. I'm just like, okay, this is way too big for me. Like, this is just way too open, and I need some direction. So I did eventually get the guide, and I played a lot more. But then I'd start playing other things, and I could just never go back to it.
Yeah.
It might also just be I've just never been a big Zelda guy.
See, I have been. I kind of fell off it for a little while, but I like those old ones quite a bit. So that's why I liked Link's Awakening more or less on the Switch, like that remade Switch version. But I thought like Cadence of Hyrule was actually a much better Zelda game than a lot of the recent ones have been, and it's not a Zelda game per se.
Yeah, that is true on that front. I think one that I do want to, like, L.A. Noire was one that I really enjoyed, like, being in. Like, maybe the missions eventually got kind of boring after a while because you could figure out what they were going to do easily. But I just love that setting. Like, I love that time period, and I thought they really hit that really well. And, and of course all the characters look fantastic for being that era of game.
Yeah.
So
I just don't like. I really didn't like playing that game. So I got to like the second desk, and I was like, I'm kind of done. Like, okay, I guess, but it was a cool setting. Like, the whole like I think 40s version of LA or yeah. I was like, hey, that's cool, but yeah.
I don't know. It's another one that's you don't want to give a lot of credit to Death Stranding.
I don't know. I give more credit. SnowRunner, let me tell you about. I mean, I think you'll laugh when I say this, but like, I think American Truck Simulator is pretty good about that because it's a condensed version of like California and Arizona and like a few other states, but like it is recognizable enough, or it's not like you can't like drive through California in like an hour. Let's say. I mean, it takes you a few hours to get from like the top of the state to the bottom of the state. So
yeah, at least they tried a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of just I'm waiting to hear what's gonna happen with Shantae. It's waiting on Xenoblade to come in, and I'm almost done with the Streets of Rage 4 review. That should have been done a long time ago. Sorry. And I do have this game called Lair of the Clockwork God, which is supposed to be hilarious. It's like a point and click, and also, so like one character is like playing a point and click adventure, the other character is playing a platformer. So it's like bringing those two things together, which are two genres that I really, really enjoy. So I'm like kind of excited to check it out. Hopefully start checking it out tomorrow and be able to talk about it on the next edition, which also I'll be able to talk a little bit about Xenoblade because it'll have come out that day. And
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm sort of just kind of looking forward to things right now, but really close, almost there. So be playing stuff again.
I'm playing Castlevania Aria of Sorrow still.
Hey, that's a great game to keep playing. So
Yeah, I'm currently grinding to get money to buy the cool ring in the game.
yeah, and then still got. Hopefully, you can play the other ones in that series at some point.
Well, I have one of them. The other one's a little. I mean, I've heard like the last one is not that good, but I'll try to get it eventually.
Yeah.
I guess there's some like weird Castlevania double pack for GBA. It's like Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow in like one cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, I wish I had that thing. That'd be cool as hell.
Yeah, I bet that'd be like a neat little collector's item at some point.
And it's like an official thing too. It's not like some bootleg item apparently. So it's like the old Mario RPG games, or the Mario All Stars, I should say.
Well, anything else you want to add here? So, yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the show here enough to go and give us a review on whichever listening platform you choose us on, and we do thank you for listening, whether you use Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, whichever one you decide to use. I appreciate that. Spreaker as well, of course, they're our hosts. And go visit that w2net.com, and if you'd like, you can like the Facebook page. Just go find w2net.com on Facebook. Give us a shout out on there. You can go hit us up on Twitter at HumanityPlague, at W2MSean, at W2 Network to follow the whole thing. And of course, you can always just rate us those 5 stars as well. That would be nice, or whichever rating you feel like we deserve here. So until the Saturday morning afternoon show, and I should mention that we're coming out a day later because I had to work. I had to take some extra hours on Tuesday morning, and by the time everything got going, I was like, well, this looks like I gotta run errands. It looks like it's not gonna happen during the day, so might as well just do it at night.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, until the next one, we'll see you later.
Later.